In today's Space Brief, Saturn reclaims the title as the reigning king of moons in the solar system. The JUICE mission finally deploys a stuck antenna, but NASA's Lunar flashlight mission ends in failure. But first, let's back up a bit. Hello and welcome to the Undiscovered Country. I am your host, Bryant A.M. Baker. Today I'll present the top 5 most important things happening in the world of space. If you like what you see here, please consider liking or sharing this episode with a friend. It's a small, easy thing, but it makes a huge difference to small channels like mine. Let's get started.
Number 5.
Intuitive Machines has announced a delay in its first lunar lander mission. The Nova-C lander, scheduled for IM-1 mission, will be ready for liftoff in mid to late third quarter of this year. This slight shift in schedule could impact the timeline for its second mission, IM-2. The IM-1 mission, valued at $116.3 million, involves delivering payloads for NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. While known for lunar landers, Intuitive Machines is expanding into other areas. It recently secured a NASA Engineering Services contract, OMS-3, in collaboration with KBR, worth up to $719 million over the first 5 years. This contract aims to support NASA in developing and validating technologies crucial for future space and science missions, potentially including satellite servicing and debris removal. Intuitive Machines is also participating in NASA's Near Space Network competition and plans to launch its own constellation of lunar data relay satellites. It will also lead a team called Moon Racer in the upcoming Lunar Terrain Vehicle competition, or LTV, bidding for a crewed lunar rover project. While facing a delay in their lunar lander mission, Intuitive Machines continues to diversify its offerings and expand its presence in the space industry. But what are your thoughts on Intuitive Machines' sacrifice of the lunar mission for other endeavors? Share your insights and expectations for the future below.
Number 4.
Saturn has regained its position as the moon king of the solar system, surpassing Jupiter in the number of total known moons. Astronomers have recently discovered 62 new moons orbiting Saturn, bringing its total count to an astonishing 145. This milestone makes Saturn the first celestial body in the cosmos known to be orbited by more than 100 moons. The discovery was made using a technique called shift and stack, which involves combining sequential images to enhance the visibility of fainter and smaller moons. The new moons belong to the category of irregular moons and are believed to have been captured by Saturn's gravitational pull, resulting in their elliptical and inclined orbits. They're part of 3 existing groups known as the Inuit, Gallic, and Norse groups. Investigating these irregular moon orbits could provide valuable insights into the history of collisions within Saturn's system. The large number of small moons in retrograde orbits suggests a recent collision between irregular moons, potentially occurring around 100 million years ago. What are your thoughts on Team Saturn? Or do you secretly wish that another planet had the crown? Let me know.
Number 3.
Virgin Orbit, a responsive space launch provider, has extended the deadline for bids in its bankruptcy auction process, which has attracted over 30 indications of interest from potential buyers. The company aims to continue operating as an ongoing integrated enterprise, with several bidders proposing to retain the existing business operations as well as the workforce. CEO Dan Hart expressed satisfaction with the response, highlighting the team's innovative work in developing their unique launch system. While the sale process is underway, Virgin Orbit's team is actively preparing for their next rocket launch later on this year. The company said they remain committed to providing responsive space launch services despite the ongoing sale process. However, the sale's final outcome is uncertain, and there are no guarantees that the winning bid will continue the company's operations or provide returns to shareholders.
Number 2.
The European Space Agency's JUICE mission, set to explore Jupiter's icy moons, has finally successfully deployed its radar for icy moons exploration, or RIME, antenna after weeks of troubleshooting. The 16-meter-long antenna is a crucial component of the mission, as it will probe the surface as well as the subsurface structures of Jupiter's moons, including Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, down to a depth of 9 kilometers. Initial attempts to deploy the antenna encountered a stuck pin issue, hindering its extension. However, the flight control team employed various techniques to resolve the problem. Finally, a mechanical device called a non-explosive actuator was fired, causing a jolt that shifted the pin and enabled the antenna to unfold. Subsequently, another actuator was activated to ensure the complete deployment of the antenna. The successful deployment of the RIME antenna is significant, and a significant milestone for the JUICE mission. It brings us closer to unraveling the mysteries of Jupiter's icy moons, as well as understanding possibly habitable worlds around gas giants. How do you anticipate the exploration of Jupiter's moons will contribute to our overall understanding of the solar system? I'd love to hear your thoughts and insights into this exciting mission.
Number 1.
NASA has officially concluded the Lunar Flashlight mission, a CubeSat mission aimed at orbiting the moon due to problems with its propulsion system. The spacecraft launched in December of 2022 and was unable to enter its planned polar orbit around the moon because its propulsion system failed to generate the necessary thrust. Engineers spent months troubleshooting this issue, suspecting that debris was blocking the propellant lines, impeding the flow to the thrusters. Despite a final attempt to clear the obstructions by increasing fuel pump pressures, the spacecraft could not be maintained in the vicinity of the moon. Although alternative options were explored, such as placing the CubeSat in a distant Earth orbit for monthly flybys of the moon, the mission had to be terminated. The Lunar Flashlight mission was significant for testing new technologies and systems that had never flown in space before. It successfully demonstrated a low-power flight computer called Sphinx and an upgraded radio called Iris. Additionally, it confirmed the functionality of its laser reflectometer instrument, although it couldn't collect scientific data. This is a huge disappointment, but we have to be open to failure as a means for learning and improving. I hope that NASA can overcome this and be successful with future attempts. Thank you for joining me. Links to all the stories are in the description. I would love to hear your thoughts on everything I talked about here today. If you feel like this information has been helpful for you, please consider giving it a like or a rating and subscribing and following the content. I am honored to be a part of this community of citizens in this undiscovered country of ours, and I'll see you again next time.